You're, somebody else, maybe, who can explain it here that I wish did you send this to us, or did we?
I did.
You emailed it, or?
And Chief Moore were.
No, I know, but did you email?
It was just placed at the day of tonight.
Yeah, I wish we would have had this
Today.
earlier, but I can't, I'm not sure I can follow all the numbers. Does anybody else, can you help me out?
When the agreement was first made with the fire district, we determined that the cost of providing fire by public safety was 8-point-something mils plus or minus. It was in the 8 mil range. So that's what it cost the citizens of Gardner for fire service when it was part of the public safety. So as part of the agreement, we said that's what we're willing to pay moving over to the fire district. And that was where we struck the contract. And that every year we would evaluate where we were, not saying that you know, even in that first year, if you were to run this calculation, we were still at a difference, paying less than what we would pay if we were just a straight fire district contract like Edgerton has, like, I'm trying to think of it, Mission has a fire, not necessarily one, but they have a fire district contract.
Yeah.
DeSoto has a fire district 2 contract, and so on. So
And
that's,
Springdale.
just a straight contract. So every year we go through this, and then both parties have to agree that we're going to proceed with either, you know, we say we want to stay with the 8.9, or we say, no, we're ready to go, we're going to go ahead and go straight to a fire district contract like any other city. What we don't have as a result of this is we don't have representation on the board, which, and go back to the discussion, part of that requirement of going to a straight fire district mill levy is that we would have representation on the board in order to do that. But because we're not paying that, because we're paying as a fee as opposed to a representative mill levy, we don't have representation today.
Other than the contract.
In the contract, right. And so that's kind of where we are, and that's how we got to that point. That was the.
That's a 5-year agreement that we don't have an option to get out of it now. Anyway, right? Wasn't the agreement
It
for
was
5
an
years?
initial 3-year agreement, and then the
Year-by-year
contract
extension.
calls for it to be reviewed in this next year to continue the next 3 years after that.
Right.
Is that right, Cheryl?
That is correct. So you have an option to renew or not renew next year.
And if we don't renew, what are our options?
Well.
We build our own fire department again? Is that
Go back to doing fire in this jurisdiction.
we get our building and our truck back, or, right?
I assume you could buy them back.
Probably be buying them back, yeah.
So, but going back to that last paragraph, I mean, I see the 2 numbers don't match up. So someone is getting more than they bargained for, and someone's, I mean, the contract price was already capped.
Yeah. So bottom paragraph is just telling you what it would take as total assessed value-wise to get to a point where we could assess at 8.901 mils to everybody in the fire district and the city. That's all that is a figure. This is what the assessed value would have to be if we wanted to do that, project the 2014 budget at 8.901 mils.
So that would be anywhere within, for example, I guess the question I have, the assessed valuation that got to us this 224, which is where we are today, right?
That's what we're projecting.
Or projecting, rather.
Yeah.
That includes any abated properties, is that correct? Or how does that figure into that?
That is,
Assuming that theirs is the same way as the cities, that it's reported by the county the same way, then if it's a 50% abatement, the county reports that as a 50% of the value.
Okay.
So
So
they
as-
report it
so-
as if it were valued.
So when Kimberly Clark comes on on full, that will
That
then
will
increase that
increase
amount.
that.
We don't know what of that 72
Right.
million.
Yeah.
So, another building comes on, and this is in the intermodal logistics park or in the city of Gardner. It's within the district itself, not just.
Right.
Now, the building that is being built on 56 Highway now,
That's Olathe.
that is an Olathe?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not a
And
district.
it has been detached years ago when we did detachment agreement. with
Okay,
Olathe.
so that it was already
So we won't
detached.
see
All right.
the taxes.
Okay. So that's really what would happen is as the valuation increases through growth, then the mill, the actual.
Yeah. Then we
needed
get
mill-
closer, our mill levy and what the city's mill levy equivalent will get
Will start.
closer, and eventually at one point,
They'll match.
then it's equal and constitutes no increase in taxes for the city citizens of Gardner from what they're paying before. That's when, that is the point that you, the council, would then say,
We're good to go.
Right, but then the homeowners or property owners would expect, let's just say it's 9 mils, to round up the number, would expect a 9 mil reduction in their city property tax.
Correct.
Is that right?
The
Right.
city property tax would reduce by that same amount.
We're allocating
That'd be the
8.9
offset.
now to fire protection. So essentially what we would do is we'd move that mill out of the city, general fund over to fire district. So you'd see that line item drop on your tax bill and then a new one pop on, which would say fire district.
But you as a taxpayer won't see an increase or decrease there, you'll just be paying the
A different
necessary
interest.
taxes rather than the city
Right.
guard. I will, tomorrow morning, get you that training information, and do you want me to
Yeah, if you wanted to just email Cheryl and Cap Moore, and then they can forward it on to us, that'd be perfect, thanks. Any other questions for the chief?
Thank you, Chief.
thank you guys.
Chief. And thanks for getting Santa Claus to the park.
Anytime.
Appreciate it.
See you later.
So, Mayor, I'd like to kind of recap that, this item will not come back to the council until next year. The only requirement in the contract was that a report be provided by December 31st of this year, on the mill levy, and then next year, the item will come back at the end of the year.
Will we be voting on a 1-year or 2-year extension, because that's the initial 3 with an option for 5, is that the way I understood it?
No, I think it's a renewal of 3, right? That's what he
I thought
said.
it was a renewal of 3.
Is that what it is?
It will, they will do the study each year for a 1-year extension.
Okay.
Right.
So when,
Okay. Second item on our agenda this evening is to discuss the governing body rules of procedure document. I'd like to thank Doreen for a lot of hard work putting this together. That was a very good document. I very much also appreciate those highlights that show the areas that are dictated by statute or ordinance, and then those that are policy related. We'll open it up. Is there a presentation, or we just want general?
I have very brief overview. Just wanted to let you know that my research into the rules of procedures focused on capturing the common components that other cities locally, regionally, nationally use to govern their governing bodies, or to guide their governing bodies. And the draft document in front of you captures those 5 areas that are almost like cookie cutters